again. All right. With my reference here, I'm going to look at the trees. I'm going to start with the first tree down the bottom, and it's going to kind of carry through as it works its way up. So I'm going to keep it somewhat irregular, and I don't have to start it all the way down here if I don't want to. I could start the tree here, and a straight line isn't important. Obviously, I'm going to skip the tape, and then that tree is just going to kind of come up and curve, and then it's going to come the rest of the way off. I'm going to continue to look at that angle that it's growing, and it goes up and off the edge of the page. So it's hard to see that line right now because I'm using the H pencil. All right, now I'm going to have this one, since it's in the foreground, I'm going to have this tree a little bit thicker. So the line's going to come up, follow, parallel. It's going to have some irregularities. You'll also notice that some of the trees have these weird kind of notches on some of the sides that look like a branch might have broken off or something. You could draw some of those shapes in if you wanted to as you're working your way up. And as you're working your way up too, have the tree taper in just a little bit, so it starts to get a little bit narrower as it goes up. All right. From here, I need to decide, how many other trees am I going to be putting in here? Where am I going to put them? Am I going to have any that appear to be a little bit further back in space, such as these? So, if I had this one here and this one here, could I have another one in front here that goes in front of this one and overlaps that tree? Sure. You can have overlap. And a lot of times that makes for a little bit more of an interesting representation. And when you're looking at them, all right, you can see the placement of one tree in front of another and how they're tapering up. This one's skinnier, so having variations in the thickness of the individual trunks and where they are also creates more interesting negative space as you work your way to the top. All right, so think about where and how. Obviously, you're going to want to have more than 2 trees because that's going to create more areas of interesting negative space when you have more than 3 or 4. All right, and again, you can place some of them. They don't all have to be as if they're in the foreground. You could place some of them, the ground line for them could be back a little bit further. That goes up. But in that case, if you're dealing with depth and you have a tree that's further back, oftentimes when you see that, the trunk of the tree that's further back is going to be skinnier because it's further away. All right? So please just remember that as you start drawing the trees in to your space. Any questions?